I mean, obviously we're pretty nervous, but it's, in the end we hurt ourselves. We left a bunch of points on the board. We just got to work, and as they get more experience, they'll be all right. So.
Talk about the freshman, but Andrew McDonald, the senior out there with 5 penalties, that's got to be pretty tough.
Yeah, he just had a rough day. He'll bounce back, though.
Will, as a senior, how do you, in practice, help get your guys to not make these mistakes during the game?
You just tell them to keep playing. Like, you can't let it affect how you play the next play. But, when I was a freshman, I had, a lot of penalties. So, I just tell them, as each game goes on, you just got to, work to improve, and you'll become more confident. So.
Well, again, you're the center of the line, literally, and probably metaphorically, too. You're in the middle of a bunch of guys inexperienced playing football. McDonald's out there on the right side, but you're really important. How do you kind of keep those freshmen in line, and how does it feel kind of transitioning to the line that started today? 3 freshmen out there.
You kind of mentally support them. They have to know their plays, and I mean, if they screw up in the middle of the game, you go to the sideline and you kind of go over what they did wrong. But other than that, they might get down on themselves, but you just got to be there to pick them up and tell them not to worry.
With so many playmakers out there in the receivers, how is the ball distributed, and how do you set each other up? Or?
Today we were really feeding guys in there. I was playing every other series. A lot of other guys we were just trying to get fresh legs out there. I think the biggest thing about receiving corps is we're just so deep. We got so many weapons. But even with our freshmen, everybody's going to play on the field.
How tough is it to get used to Coach Wilson's, the way he does things and the way Lynch did them last year?
You can't take anything personally. That's probably the biggest thing. And you just got to understand he's trying to make you the best player that you can be. I think that's the biggest thing with Coach Wilson. He just wants everybody to be great. So however it comes out, it might not be the nicest way, but just understand, he's just trying to make you a better player.
But he gets your attention?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Every time he speaks.
Well, we played pretty well in the first half, probably third quarter too. We kind of let it up at the end, giving up two scores. Early score, after that early score, they really didn't get much. We kind of let off the gas a little bit at the end, obviously, which we shouldn't have done, But, we played well. We did a lot of good things. Obviously, things to improve every week to week, and South Carolina did some good things. They got scholarship players too, so, we just got to limit those plays and, obviously, take better care on the field.
Was there both safeties come on that first long touchdown to theirs? It looked like,
Oh no, it was one of our pressures that we ran in empty. They ran a screen to the boundary
away from it, right?
And we came off both edges. So the screen to the boundary, they picked off 2 of our guys, the 2 for the man coverage, and he went however many yards. So that accounts to. However many yards they had, I don't know, I think it was like an 70-yard touchdown. So just got to limit those big plays too. So.